I end up in jail behind these kids because they're out of control.
You know, I don't like having to discipline kids. I really don't.
Mm-hmm.
But
right. Where did the belt come from anyway?
Me, I have it. That's
Okay.
what I use to spank them.
Just hours ago, Veronica Posey, James Smith, and Grace Smith were at home when Grace's 9-year-old daughter died right in front of them. Now, they think they can explain it away. That is, until one of them breaks.
I just need to know what you saw.
I'm really too old for this. But, oh man, Jesus.
It wasn't intentionally. I loved him and they loved me.
Mm-hmm.
October 14th, 2017, Escambia County, Florida. A 9-year-old girl named Siobhan Lindsay would stop breathing inside her family's home. At 1:35 p.m., a 911 call came from Bright Road in Pensacola. The caller said a child had lost consciousness during discipline. Paramedics arrived to find Siobhan unresponsive on the living room floor. She was pronounced dead shortly after. 3 adults were in the room that day: Grace Smith, her husband James, and Grace's 66-year-old niece, Veronica Green Posey. What began, according to them, as an attempt to correct a child's behavior would end with a death they all struggled to explain. Investigators quickly learned the punishment hadn't involved yelling or grounding. It had involved objects and weight. When deputies began separating the 3 adults into different interview rooms, their stories started to fracture almost immediately. Inside the Escambia County Sheriff's Office, detectives hit record. The camera light blinked on. First, it's Veronica's turn.
All right, well, I know that you are Siobhan's, and we call her Siobhan, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You are Siobhan's, I guess.
Second cousin.
Okay, so second cousin. Is that a biological relationship or?
Yes.
Okay.
Her father is my first cousin.
And her father's name is what?
Derek.
Derek?
Yes, Derek.
What's his last name?
Lindsay.
Derek Lindsay. Okay.
And his mother is my father's sister. So it's biological.
Okay. All right. And then you are Grace's sister?
Niece.
Niece. Okay. All right. So I guess Grace, did she call you today, or
Yeah,
how
she
did you
did.
end up over at the house?
I was at home in the bed, sleeping, because my great-granddaughter was coming over at 2 o'clock because her mother and her boyfriend were going to Tallahassee to a show.
Okay.
And so Grace woke me up with the telephone.
What time was that?
I'll say about 12,
Okay.
12-ish, I don't know. Wait a minute. About 11:30, because I was taking my time getting there.
Mm-hmm.
And she called and she said, Veronica, I need you to come over here. Siobhan is cutting up.
Mm-hmm.
She said, I need you to help me hold her. She's running, she won't let me whoop her. See, when I come, it's a whole nother atmosphere with the kids.
Okay.
And I said, okay, I'll be there in 20 minutes or so.
The Smiths lived on Bright Road in Pensacola with their 2 adopted daughters, Siobhan and Rachel. Veronica often visited to help with discipline in the small, cluttered house where windows were nailed shut and doors kept locked.
Oh, now you want me to continue what happened?
Yeah, just kind of,
Okay.
just walk me through it.
And so I knew Siobhan was going to cut up. So I had one of those broken wood rulers, yardsticks.
Okay.
And I had a Liberty Light pipe that just to keep the ruler from breaking, or it would put a little weight to it.
Okay.
And,
So is it taped onto the ruler?
No,
Or?
it was just on my hand.
Oh, okay. So you just kind of put them together.
Yeah, and hit her with the ruler. And so when I got there, we was trying to constrain her for Grace to whoop her because she wanted to whoop her. Mm-hmm. But she was cutting up. She was acting something terrible. Mm-hmm. And
what was she doing?
Fighting against us, bucking, saying what she wasn't going to do, and this wasn't true, and, you know, just being defiant. Mm-hmm. So normally when I go there, I haven't been over there in a while because I told my aunt, I said, look, I end up in jail behind these kids because they're out of control. So I hadn't been over there in about a month or so. Mm-hmm.
She should have taken her own advice, because that is exactly what's about to happen.
Because the state called me, and I had them for about a week to give my aunt a release because Siobhan had been cutting up so bad with them over there. I had her and Rachel both. They don't give me no problems. They're good kids, but at home, they're holy terrorists. Mm-hmm. And I told my aunt, I said, you know what? They know James has a disability. He has short-term memory. And you need to get your hand taken care of. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to be codependent on them. And they can stop acting like they're grown and run the house. I said, so it's best for me to stay home because they were very manipulative. Mm-hmm. But I loved them. Mm-hmm. And they loved me. Matter of fact, they came by the house Saturday night with Grace to get some clothes while I had them that week. And
so you just had them within the last week or two?
No, it's been in the early part of the summer, I think.
Okay.
Or maybe it was in the summer for a week I had them.
Okay.
Because they had walked away from home, and Grace didn't know where they were, and she had called a social worker to come get them. And they didn't have placement for them at that time. So just to give them a break and get them out the house, they called me and asked me to come get them. Because they knew that I would, you know, be good to them. And they don't give me no problems. Mm-hmm. It's just when they get home, but all of a sudden, Siobhan, from what I could hear from my aunt, was defiant everywhere she went. Stealing from the school, getting disrespectful with the principal, and they was telling me she talked to the beautician like she was a dog yesterday.
Defiance is natural for a child, but it can't explain what would end up happening to Siobhan.
And I told Siobhan when she was over there Friday night, I said, baby, check your attitude. Your attitude stink. You need to check it. Yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am. It's always yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am to me. They don't get disrespectful for me. Because I told them, I said, I'm going to spank you. Mm-hmm. You're not going to run over me. You're not going to talk to me no anyway, kind of way. You're only 8 and 9 years old. You got to respect your elders. I said, because you know James and Grace are handicapped, and you're taking advantage of it. And so when she called me, like I said, I ate a banana muffin and Jello and took my medication. And I went over there. So they tried to open the front door, but they couldn't. Mm-hmm. Because Siobhan had put a knife in the door to try to get out. They said the night before, because my aunt told her she was going to whoop her behind, because she was threatening them. And so I said, okay, don't worry about it. I'll walk around to the back door, open the back door. So Grace opened the back door and I went into the house. And of course, hey, cousin Veronica, how you doing? Blah, 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 blah. I said, Siobhan, I said, Grace told me she got ready to whoop you and you ran again. I said, what I tell you about running away from James and Grace? I told you have to respect them. They take care of you. They buy you clothes. You get the best of the best. And yet you talk to them like they're nothing. And Grace said, well, she had a knife. She was going to cut her. She had a hammer. I said, Javon, what's wrong with you? Lost your mind or something?
Detectives will inquire more about the knife and the hammer. Would they pose a big enough threat to justify the death of a 9-year-old?
First of all, I know that you're hearing this information from Grace, but
Yeah.
when did they say that this stuff happened with the knife and the hammer?
The night before and during the morning, the earlier part of today, I think.
Okay, so it's something that happened last night and kind of continued over until this morning?
Yes.
Okay, did Grace ever tell you exactly what happened with the knife and the hammer?
She told me Siobhan tried to cut her with the knife.
Okay.
And I can't remember what Jane said something about the knife too.
Okay.
But I can't remember what his part was about the knife.
Okay. So when you got there, you went in the back door, and how long were you there before you started
Anything happened?
trying to discipline her?
I walked in the door and I was talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe 15 or 20 minutes.
Okay, so you were trying to talk some sense into her,
Yeah.
and what was she doing?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Like she always does when I talk to her.
Okay.
But the minute James or Grace say something, that's not true. I didn't do that, and you this. I said, they're lying, Javon. They take care of you, baby.
Grace Smith was 70 years old, frail, and partially disabled from a stroke. Her husband, James, moved slowly after prostate surgery and rarely left his chair. They claimed they weren't violent, just too old to control 2 children who didn't listen. According to her, Siobhan was a menace to society. That same day, in another interview room, detectives talked to Grace. We'll pick it up right after the detective takes down her personal information.
Okay, and what's your relationship with Derica?
Mother.
You're her mother.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I'm getting a little bit of conflicting information here, so just clear up for me. You're her adopted mother, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now how did she come to you? Is it your daughter's child and you adopted her, or just...
These are my nephew's children. They took them away from his girlfriend, and they were in I don't know what the name of the home, but we got them through DCF.
Okay. How long has she been with you?
Since October 2010.
Okay, so a while. Now, what school does she go to?
Navy Point.
Navy Point. What grade is she in? 4th grade. Okay.
She just started there. She was at St. John's before then.
Soon, Grace will start describing her side of the situation. They start with Siobhan and her behavioral issues.
All right. So tell me about Derica. Does she have any health issues? Okay.
She just tended to be overweight.
Okay. Now how... I haven't seen her, so how big is she?
About 87 pounds.
87 pounds? Okay, so she's one of the bigger kids in her class? Okay.
Oh, I don't know about in her class.
But is she usually one of the bigger kids in her class?
Yes.
About how tall is she?
I don't know. I had all that on her. I had her health records at home.
So I am 5'3". Is she about as tall as me, or is she maybe a little shorter?
She's shorter than you.
Shorter?
I would say she'd come maybe to your waist or so. No, she's taller than that. I
Okay.
don't know.
Yeah.
I got it on a piece of paper at home. I got her all her health records and all that at home.
Okay. Does she have any kind of behavioral issues?
Yeah, she does.
Okay. What kind of behavioral issues does she have?
Well, she has a tendency to lie and steal, and she has attitude issues, and she books authority.
Okay. Is that something that's new, or has it always been that way?
Well, it seems like she's been that way. But lately she's been worse. I have been counseling.
Mm-hmm. Who does she see?
At the Lutheran Center.
Okay.
And her name is...
Can't get the sound to work at all for this one for whatever reason. So, all right.
Hang on just a second.
The detective has to leave the room briefly, but when she returns, they continue discussing Siobhan.
Sorry about that. They're having some technological difficulties in there. Okay, so she's...
Brittany. Miss Brittany.
Brittany is who she sees?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when's the last time that she saw Brittany?
Let's see, did we go last Wednesday? Trying to think. No, I think 2 weeks ago.
Maybe 2 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And is that the Lutheran services?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Where's on Fairfield?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How long has she been seeing Brittany for?
God, we've been there for months. I don't remember what month. I don't remember.
So it's been pretty regular.
Oh, yeah. We had appointments set up every week or every 2 weeks.
Okay.
Because we had problems before with them. Because what they would do is leave home and wouldn't tell you where they were.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day she called up one of her friends and had their mother come and pick them up and took them to her house.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know where they were, so I looked for them. And I finally had to call 911, and we finally found them.
Okay. All right. So, has she ever been diagnosed with autism or anything like that? No?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Is she combative? Does she usually hit or kick or... I mean, tell me how she reacts when she gets angry.
Her mouth is the first thing, and then all these, attitudinal, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or, she does fight. Like at times, she might get a broom and do things, but normally, she'll calm down. Yeah, I'd say she'd calm down. But she could be combative.
Okay. Has she ever hit you before?
But I would say once she did, but I don't know if that was on purpose or she had a broom.
Mm-hmm.
And she said she was going to hit me.
Okay.
And she did hit me now. But I don't know if she intentionally did it or she struck out. I don't know if once she thought about it, she was going to follow through with it or not. Well, she did it anyway.
She did hit you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did she hit you hard?
Well, I guess so, but I didn't think it was something that she was had really thought about. That she was just mad and angry, and that was her way of saying, "You're not gonna chastise me."
Mm-hmm.
So she'll get the broom and say, and try to hit at you. But I don't know if she thought it through. To tell you the truth.
Does she do that often? Grabbing the broom?
Well, if it's something that she don't like, yeah, she'll grab her broom. She'll even grab it at her sister. But she never, I don't know, just because she grabs it, she doesn't necessarily go through what it is that she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's just angry at the time.
Okay. Now she's how old?
9, she'll be 10 in December.
Okay, so she was about to turn 10.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like Veronica, Grace mentions how she feels threatened by a 9-year-old. Next, they'll get into her school situation.
Did she have problems at school?
When she just went to this new school,
Mm-hmm.
at her old school, she had problems. And the reason actually, her attitude is like, although she's like 9 years old, she tries to act like she's 12 or 13 years old. That's the way she carries herself. And then she misbehaved at school where she took a computer she wasn't supposed to take. But she said till this day, she'll say she borrowed it. But the school said she took it. So she does get into things at school.
Okay. Did she get kicked out of her last school and that's why she's at a new school, or?
Well, we agreed that the good thing for her to do was to move to a different environment because she wasn't showing remorse. The teachers had a meeting with her to talk about, because she keeps saying she borrowed it, she didn't take it.
Right.
So then all she had to do was act like, or just say, I'm sorry, you know what, that wasn't something I meant to do, I won't do it again. She wouldn't carry on that attitude. She just, so the principal just told me, and we agreed that she needed a different environment.
Okay. Now
so
what?
So put her to Navy Point.
What school was that she?
St. John.
St. John's.
The Evangelist on Navy Boulevard.
Okay. All right.
And that's where she's been since she's been in kindergarten.
Okay.
According to Grace, it was the school environment that was responsible for Siobhan's bad behavior. But maybe it was the constant beatings that had something to do with it.
So now tell me who all was in the house today.
So I was there. Veronica Posey, my niece, was there.
Okay, and Veronica's the lady that's here.
Her sister was there, who was Rachel.
Her sister? Oh, you mean
She's
Derica's sister? Okay. All right, so Rachel. How old's Rachel?
8.
Okay.
And her birthday's 1/8/09.
1/8 of 09. And you adopted Rachel also?
Same time.
Okay.
And my husband was there, but he was mostly in his room.
Now, what's your husband's name?
James
James.
Edmund Smith.
Okay.
Because he just looked at these as girl things, so the girls need to get together and talk about them. So that's what we're trying to do, and talk to her about her behavior.
So you guys were in what room in the house?
Living dining area.
Okay. And it was you, Veronica, Derica, and Rachel?
And
then,
Rachel was in and out. She wasn't in there all the time, but she was in and out.
All right. So tell me what time all of this started.
I can't even tell you what time. If it's Saturday or Sunday, I don't even keep up with the time. I can't really tell you that.
Okay. Today's Saturday.
Yeah, I know.
But we're talking about today.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I don't, unless I have an appointment,
Okay.
I can't tell you what's, all I know is I had called her hairdresser to tell them that I wouldn't bring them to get their hair done today. But as far as, the time doesn't matter to me on a Saturday or Sunday. Now, if it was during the week, I could tell you, because I have to pick them up at school and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Okay. Did you guys eat lunch today?
Well, what we did, I don't even know about lunch. All I know is when they got up, I don't even know what time they got up, because they asked me if they could have, what's that, sausage McMuffins, and I said they could have that, and that's what they had. But I don't know what time they got up, because they were up playing and carrying on.
Grace was later found incompetent to stand trial. In February of 2019, a judge ruled she suffered from dementia and had stopped eating and taking her medication. She was involuntarily committed to a state hospital, where doctors worked to restore her competency so she could understand the charges and assist in her defense.
Okay, so
I don't even know what time that was.
anyhow, sometime today, the four of y'all were in your living and dining room area.
Right.
And then you guys were discussing what?
Her behavior and how she needs to, well, let me back up a minute.
Okay.
Before Veronica got there, I had been having a conversation with her because I couldn't find my phone. So she said she didn't know where the phone was. I said, well, it has to be here because I had it in my purse last night, so I know my phone was there. Well, I don't know where it is. I said, well, between you and your sister, you have to have the phone. She said, no, I don't have the phone. So then her sister searched in their room and she found the phone. And so Siobhan, I call her Siobhan because her middle name is Siobhan.
Derica's middle name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's what when we got it, that's what people called her, Siobhan. They didn't call her Derica.
Okay.
So I call her Siobhan.
How do you spell Siobhan?
Chavonne.
Okay.
So her sister found the phone. So Siobhan said, I knew where the phone was because I had it. I hid it.
Now Siobhan said that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I said, I don't know why you were doing that because I wanted to. I said, I knew when I couldn't find my phone yesterday that you had taken that phone to school because I found it in the back of the car after she got out. So I knew she had taken it to school. And I don't know why. She never did tell me why she took it today because I knew I had put it in my purse last night. But she never did tell me why. I said, well, that's wrong. But I need the phone because I needed to call your hairdresser and tell her you're not coming today. And then she went into a rage about that she hate her hairdresser. She don't want to go to her, this, that, and the other thing. I said, well, I still need to call her and tell her. So then she ran around. She wasn't going to get it. I said, Siobhan, I need the phone. She still didn't want to give it to me. I said, well, I'm going to spank you. You need to give me the phone. So she still wouldn't give it to me. I said, come on now, I'm going to give you your phone. I'm going to call your uncle out here, and he's going to help me get this phone from you. So I don't know, maybe it was 10 or 15 minutes later, she finally gave me the phone. So that was, that was before Veronica got there, yeah.
Okay. And then when Veronica got there,
Look, now I gotta tell, before she got there, Siobhan said she didn't want her coming because she's afraid of her. See, Siobhan, I had a 2-carat diamond ring. Siobhan took my ring to school and she gave it to a little girl at school. And then Veronica had to go to the school to talk to the principal, Ms. Williams, who took them went to the classroom, found the little girl that Siobhan gave the ring to, and got the ring back. So she really don't care for Veronica.
Okay.
She don't care for the fact that Veronica might discipline her or whatever.
Siobhan was clearly afraid of Veronica and her excessive discipline. But there was another adult in the room that day, Grace's husband, James. During Veronica's interrogation, the detective asked about his role.
Where is James?
He was either sitting down at the end of the table or standing up.
But he was right there watching all of it?
Yes.
Okay. Did James ever strike her with anything?
I know they struggled, but I can't remember him hitting her.
Okay.
Because, I was busy trying to hold him myself, so I couldn't really pay attention to James.
Okay.
It was like, he wanted to hit her, I know, and I said, no, don't hit her.
What did he say?
He said, Siobhan, I'll punch you. He said, that's why when Grace asked me to restrain them, and she gets disrespectful, like she wants to hurt me. And see, he's not well himself. So to keep his blood pressure down and stuff, he refrains from a lot of what's going on in the house.
A few hours later, detectives will start talking to James Smith about what happened.
So I want to talk to you, obviously, about what happened today with Siobhan.
All right.
Can you kind of fill me in on how this all started? What?
Okay, only thing I can remember, they woke me up like they usually do.
Who woke you up?
The children did.
Okay.
And because they play kind of rough house, even though they're girls. And so I guess they woke their auntie up too, and she was fussing at them. And
Now, when you say their auntie, you mean your wife,
right,
Grace.
right,
Okay, which is their adopted mother.
right,
Right, okay.
right. And I'm the adoptive father.
Okay.
in other words. Okay.
Okay.
And they woke her up, and I guess they were doing some bad things or whatever. I didn't get out to bed at that point in time because she usually handles it, and so they kept on doing things I guess she didn't like them to do. So she kind of got mad at them, and she said that she would have to spank them if they didn't listen.
Okay.
And I guess they didn't listen. I still hadn't came out. By the time when I came out, she said, she had called me and said, well, you're going to need to come out and hold either one of them because they'll run if you threaten to spank them.
Okay.
And so I got dressed, hurried up and got dressed and came out. And she spanked the little one. And that was the end of it.
The
That's
little one being Rachel.
Right. And Siobhan kept talking back and saying, you're not going to spank me. I guess she had a hammer at my wife.
Siobhan did?
Yeah.
Okay.
And a knife. And so I guess my wife said, well, I'm just going to call your cousin Veronica to come over because I'm disabled. I had prostate surgery. I can't hold a kid that could kick me.
Okay.
So so she called Veronica. Veronica came over, and then Veronica spanked her. And so I went back to my room to lie down because I had gotten up. So I wasn't even out there. And the next thing I knew, they were calling me out of my room and saying, well, Siobhan couldn't breathe. And I didn't know what had happened because I wasn't out there.
Echoing Veronica, James mentions the hammer and knife, but their stories diverge from there. James says he wasn't in the room. Veronica says he was, and that he was more violent than he lets on. Who is telling the truth? What James doesn't know is that Veronica has already given her side of things.
So, whenever Veronica spanked Siobhan, where was Siobhan?
The spanking, she was laying down on the sofa.
Which sofa?
There's one that faces the TV.
What color is it?
Green, but it had a burgundy covering on top.
Okay.
Of it.
Okay, so she's laying on the burgundy colored sofa.
So she wouldn't get up and run, I suppose.
Okay. And Veronica was spanking her?
Mm-hmm.
What was she spanking her with?
A belt.
A belt?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you see anything else that she was spanking her with?
Just a belt,
Okay. How many times do you think that she spanked her?
Probably 8 to 10 times before I went back to my room.
Okay. And what was your wife doing at that point?
My wife, as you know, has a handicapped hand that doesn't work.
Right.
Okay, so she can't really chastise the children the way that they need to. And I stopped doing it because, like I said, I had the prostate surgery. I didn't want nobody to kick me, and they had threatened to kick me. Mm-hmm. And they had kicked me before I had the surgery.
Understandable.
Okay, so I would hold them so they wouldn't run so she could spank them. That's all I would do.
Okay.
My wife was sitting in the chair, I guess. Like I said, I wasn't out there, so.
Okay, but you were out there enough to see Veronica spanking her 8 to 10 times with the belt. So, where was Grace when that was happening?
She was sitting in a chair and right there in the living room.
Okay. At any point did you touch Siobhan?
No, I was in my room. How can I touch somebody and I'm not?
But you were in your room for some of it, and we're not disputing that. Okay, but at some point, even you're saying you weren't in your room the whole time.
I was in my room the first part.
Mm-hmm.
After that, I went to my room, made my bed,
But did you help restrain during any of this time when she's being spanked?
A couple of times. That's before I went to the room.
Okay, so tell me about that. Tell me how that played out.
Well, she was kicking, but I just held her down by the shoulders, gently, not real hard. Because, a big guy like me, you don't really have to hold anybody real hard.
Yeah, you're kind of a...
So, and one reason, I held her, but then, I don't like having to discipline kids. I really don't.
Mm-hmm.
But, so after that, I thought it was over with. So after I held her and Veronica got through spanking her, I thought it was over with, so I went to my room, like I told you.
Okay, so when you're holding her down by the shoulders,
Mm-hmm.
was that when Veronica was hitting her with the belt? Or when Grace was hitting her with the belt?
Veronica was hitting her with the belt when I was lightly holding her by the shoulders.
Okay, lightly holding her.
Right.
Okay.
I didn't put any pressure on, but I didn't want her because she was kicking real wild. But I was in back so I wouldn't get kicked.
Okay.
So I just firmly held her because if you don't, she runs. She has run out the house
Right.
before.
Yeah, she's a runner.
Yeah. We have had the cops come out for that too.
Mm-hmm.
All three adults told the same story, with different villains. In their version, the children were uncontrollable, defiant, sneaky, and in need of correction. But when investigators listened closer, what they described wasn't parenting at all. It was routine humiliation, threats, and physical punishment passed off as love. Each one of them, in their own way, seemed convinced that pain was the only way to make someone behave. Back in Interrogation Room 3, Veronica dishes the details on the events leading up to Siobhan's death.
And so I proceed to try to restrain her for Grace to hold her. But of course, I've had 2 back surgeries and a rotary cup surgery a year ago. So I asked James, I said, James, help me restrain her for Grace to whoop her. So Grace hit her with the belt about, I don't know, maybe 10 licks or something like that.
Now, was James there?
Yes.
So James was helping you
Restrain her. Yeah. And so we released her. I said, now, Siobhan, you've been over here. Grace and James was there, and they was telling me what she had done.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, she took a knife when Grace locked the door last night so she could unlock the door to get out so she wouldn't get a whooping.
Okay.
And part of the knife is stuck in the lock. Then Grace was telling me about the knife and the hammer. And James was talking about how she was talking back at him and how she had got into Grace's face, and she's been really abusive. And this is not the first time, but this is the first time it's been this terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But no behavior can be terrible enough to warrant what happened next.
And so I said, Siobhan, later on, I'm going to whoop your butt. So I had the little ruler with the little light pipe on it in my hand, not take together, nothing. and I was whipping her on her butt, because I like butt. I don't like legs, no, I hit you on the butt. And she started bucking and fighting and running and stuff, and we were trying to restrain her. And she was jumping across the couch, just like, I'm the boss here. Mm-hmm. You have no control here. So I said, okay. So I said, Siobhan, I called her by the shirt, and we were at the chair. And I said, sit down. And she wouldn't sit down. She was bucking and rolling and everything. So I said, okay, Siobhan, get on your knees. Because she was in front of the chair, like holding on the wall to keep from sitting down.
Okay.
So I said, get down on your knees, Siobhan. Just fall on your knees. And when she went down on her knees, I had an opportunity to restrain her. And I sat on her to try to restrain her. And she kept kicking and bucking against the wall. And she said, Cousin Veronica, I can't breathe. I said, oh, Siobhan, you playing? Yes, you can. I said, you have room to raise your head, and I'm not on your whole upper part. I'm just sitting on the rear end of you. Mm-hmm. You got room? So she said, I can't breathe. So I sit there for a moment, and she stopped bucking. So I said, I got up. I said, Siobhan, get up. I thought she was playing. I said, Siobhan, get up. She didn't move. I said, Siobhan, get up. I said, stop playing. You're not going to get another whipping, get up. And she didn't move. So then I asked Grace, do you have some ammonia? Because I could put it under her nose if the heat had got to her or something in the midst of struggling, to bring her back. And she said, no, she had vinegar. I put some vinegar on a paper towel. She didn't move. So I asked for a bottle of water. And I poured some on the back of her neck. She still didn't move. So I started feeling for a pulse. Mm-hmm. I said, y'all help, because I couldn't pick her up. She's too heavy. Mm-hmm. And so I said, y'all help me. We tried to pick her up from the chair. I said, Grace, we need to call 911. I'm not getting up. I didn't get nothing. I said, we need to call 911. And her phone was right behind me, so I called 911. And so the operator told us to turn her over. So me and James and Grace, we turned her over on the floor, and then he told me how to do chest compressions. But she didn't come around. And that's what happened.
Okay.
It wasn't intentionally. I loved him and they loved me.
Mm-hmm. Veronica certainly has a strange way of expressing her love by sitting on someone until they asphyxiate.
But they would give me a respect that they wouldn't give my aunt and uncle. Mm-hmm. You could take them anywhere normally and they'd do fine. But at home, they were destructive. They just were like animals. But I would go over there and sit and talk to them. And sometimes we would go riding and ice cream, I'd pick them up from the beauty shop and take them home. Just keeping it, talk to them about respect and doing good in school and get on Siobhan about her attitude and her mouth. And baby, you only 9 years old. You can't do what you do. I said, Grace, what are you going to do if she's 12? She's just 9. And that's what happened.
Okay.
Her story was finished, but the detective wasn't. There were still too many gaps, too many moments that didn't add up. Now came the questions about how everything had spiraled out of control.
So how did it go from she's being respectful to you to spanking her? How
Okay.
did it get to that point where we can't talk anymore? Now it's got to be
Well, we were
discipline.
restraining her for Grace because Grace was the one that was punishing her.
Okay.
And she was bucking against Grace, and she refused to cooperate with Grace to get the whooping Grace was going to give her. I say whooping, a little light belt.
So, what was the punishment for? What was the whooping going to be for?
Grace was getting on her about talking to her so disrespectful, about the knife, about the tip of the knife in the doorknob, and I think the hammer. I don't know.
Okay. But it was kind of for everything.
It was for everything.
And that was the punishment that she was going to carry out.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you said it was a belt?
Yes.
And where did the belt come from?
It's Grace's.
Okay. And where was Grace?
Standing at the end of the couch.
Which couch? The one with the plastic or the red couch?
The red couch.
Okay, so Siobhan, was she on the couch or was she standing?
When I told her to lay down so Grace could whoop her,
Okay.
she was laying down. But in the process of Grace hitting her, she jumped up and she started kicking and bucking and refusing the punishment Grace was giving.
Okay.
So then, that's when I stepped in. I had spoken to her about getting expelled from school. And prior to, there's an enormous amount of money that Siobhan has taken from her aunt in jury and
Right. She told me about that.
all of that stuff. And so I had told her, I said, Siobhan, when I see you, I'm going to beat your butt. You know better to get expelled from school. Why did you take school property, remove the serial numbers, and then take it back to school? And then when the principal tried to talk to you, I understand you got plenty of attitude. Because I asked Grace, I said, Grace, let me go with her. I don't want to say a word. I just want to sit in the room and check her attitude. Because she would correct it if I'm sitting there. I don't have to say a word. But this idea I'm in the room, it's going to be a whole nother attitude.
Okay.
Really. And so I said, I told you I was going to get you for that. I said, y'all hadn't seen me for a long time. Number one, I've been at home with kidney stones the last, 6 weeks or so. I've been sick myself. And then I said, I stayed away because I'm not going to jail behind no children.
In that household, hiding children didn't mean sending them to their rooms. It meant something more disturbing. When investigators reviewed the autopsy, the extent of the violence became undeniable. The medical examiner found severe injuries consistent with prolonged compression and striking.
So, Grace is whipping her with the belt.
Yes,
She's connecting with her
with the belt.
with the belt. Okay. And Siobhan's kind of bucking, trying to get away.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you ended up taking, did you take the belt or did
No,
you use your ruler?
I used the ruler
Okay.
because I didn't want to use the belt or anything. I just wanted to use the ruler to let her know I meant business.
Okay.
And
So did Grace stop what she was doing?
Yes.
Did you just kind of say, let me take care of this, or how did that happen?
When she started bucking and running, Grace stopped. I said, leave her alone, I got this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I began to spank her.
Okay. With the ruler.
With the ruler.
Okay. How many times do you think that you hit her with that ruler?
It may have been 7, 8 times, something like that. I don't
Okay.
remember.
And this is still the ruler with the pipe on the back end of it to keep the ruler from breaking.
Yeah, but
Okay.
the ruler broke.
Oh, the ruler broke.
It broke.
Okay.
Yeah. And so that ended, and when the ruler broke, that's when she broke away and started running.
Okay.
And we were trying to contain her. And she had gotten away and ran around the couch, and then James blocked her. When he blocked her, I caught the back of the shirt, and that's when when she bent over towards the wall over the chair.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how she got down on her knees.
But according to James, that ruler never existed. And remember, also according to him, he wasn't even in the room.
Did you ever see Veronica with a ruler?
A ruler? I haven't seen her with a ruler.
Okay. Today, did you see her?
I didn't
with a
see her
ruler?
today with a ruler, no.
Okay. Have you ever known her to use a ruler to carry out discipline?
Not. Usually it's just been the belt.
Okay.
As far as I have seen her discipline the children.
Okay. When's the last time do you think that Siobhan was disciplined with a belt or any object that might leave a mark?
I can't really say. I don't. I haven't seen any marks.
Okay. Well, maybe you
Today-
haven't seen marks, but
Okay.
when's the last time you know that she was disciplined with some sort of object, like a belt or a whip or anything that could possibly leave a mark, even if it didn't?
I've only seen the belt
Okay. When's the last time you saw it?
today. But that's before I went to my room.
Before today, when's the last time you saw her be disciplined with a belt?
Oh, it's been a while.
How long is a while?
A couple months.
Okay. So you say you held her down, you think it's resolved, so you get up and go back to your room.
Because she sat up. So I didn't think anything else was going on. So I like to keep my door closed because if you don't, the kids come in your room. You know, you could be napping, watching TV or whatever. So I didn't think it was no cause for me to remain out there.
Okay, so you go back and you shut your door.
Mm-hmm.
And then what?
Then I hear somebody say, "James, you better come out here." I think it was my wife. I'm not quite sure about who said it. And the incident had been over with, and so I don't know what was going on at that point. So they looked like they were trying to resuscitate her or something like that. But I didn't get close enough.
But according to Veronica, James was there, and detectives pushed further.
So, you know, you're the last person that I'm talking to.
Right.
So I've already gotten the other stories about what happened. Okay. So I'm having a little issue here as far as information on where you were when all of this was happening. Okay. I'm getting information that you were there while Siobhan was on the chair and Veronica was on her.
Who told you that?
Well, I'm not going to sit here and tell you who told me, but I've already talked to the two other people involved, and that's the information that I've got, is that you were there. And if you're there, it is what it is. You know, we can work around it, and we can work with you on it, but I don't want you to sit here and try to minimize
No, I'm not.
what you saw.
I'm not. This is a serious offense. I understand that.
Yeah.
She's no longer here. I understand that. But I wasn't out there when that happened. Whatever happened, I don't know.
Okay. I mean, did you, when you came out, you just saw Siobhan
Yeah.
on the chair?
Well, they had got her off the chair, I guess, Grace and Veronica, and they were trying to do CPR on her chest. And then that's when my wife Grace said, "Well, let's wait a moment." and see if we can bring him back or revive or whatever term you want to use.
Mm-hmm.
And so they went a couple more minutes, and that didn't work. Then they called 911 and explained to them what was going on.
So when you came out, they were actively trying to give her CPR on the floor?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's not what they told me.
What'd they tell you?
They said they asked you to help move her off of the chair. And if that's what it is, look, I want you to just be honest with me here, because it looks bad if you're trying to say things that aren't necessarily true. If other people are already saying that that's what happens, it looks bad if we don't get the real story from you. That's what I'm trying to do.
I did come out and move her off the chair to the floor.
Okay.
But the damage had been done.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, moving her off the chair.
To the floor so they can turn her over and see what they can do.
Okay.
That's all I did.
But whenever you came out, Veronica was still sitting on her.
No. She was standing up. I guess she had been sitting on her. I don't know. I wasn't out there.
I mean, did you ask what happened?
Yeah.
And they said what?
She said she sat on it for a little while. What was I supposed to do at that point?
Well, I mean, you see where I'm having a little bit of a problem with what you're saying versus what they're saying. It's conflicting. And if I've got the conflicting statements there, I tend to believe two people's statements against one person's statement. You know what I mean? It's kind of one of those things where if two people that are separated are saying the same thing, and then this person's saying one thing, what else am I supposed to do? So they're saying that you were in there while Veronica was sitting on Siobhan.
But it seems that neither the detective nor James are being entirely truthful. Earlier, in room 2, Grace had this to say about James' whereabouts.
Okay. Was James there for the chair incident?
Let me see. I don't know if he was there for the entire incident. I remember asking if he could help turn her over, so we could do that. Help pick her up off the floor. And he said he couldn't do it because she was heavy, so he didn't help us. He didn't help us with that. He asked him to help move her on her back. I don't think he helped us with that. So I can't say that he was out there for that incident. I can say for those pieces, I can say that. I can't say how long he was out there. I just know he was in and out.
Okay, but at some point you had asked him to help when you guys realized when she wasn't breathing.
Mm-hmm.
You had asked him, and he was right there.
Yeah, he came to us.
Okay.
He came to us. And I didn't ask him. Veronica asked him.
Okay.
And he came over there to try to help us get her turned over to her back.
Okay.
But that's when we was at 911 though.
Okay.
Whether he was over there in that chair, because I wasn't concentrating on. I wasn't concentrating on his comings and goings. All I know is that he just said he was leaving. He wasn't going to stay out there with us.
Okay. All right.
But James breaks and confesses.
I'm really too old for this. But, oh man, Jesus. I was out there a little bit, and I did see her sitting on her, but I couldn't see it. My chair's here. There's a desk here. It was a pile full of bugs. I had to get up and do like that.
Okay. And that's understandable. You had stuff in your way. You were sitting
Right.
there in the chair.
But I thought about it, and they tell her to get up off the child. But I didn't do it. That's I guess that's on me.
Okay, so what made you say, Veronica, get off of her? What was happening to make you say that?
I didn't say it. That's what bothers me.
You didn't say it?
No.
Okay. What?
Not that I wanted her to continue to sit on her, because that's a little child.
Yeah.
But I guess I just didn't do it. So for that, I'm very sorry. You just don't know. Because I love that little child more than she will know, more than anybody will know.
What was Siobhan doing while this is all happening?
I guess she was saying that she couldn't breathe or something like that. I didn't hear it completely, to be honest with you.
Was Siobhan speaking in a voice, was it like a whispering sound and that's why you didn't hear it?
It was low.
It was low?
Yeah, but it
Okay.
sounded like a gurgle sound too.
A gurgle sound?
Yeah,
Okay.
but that's all I can tell you.
Okay. And what was Veronica doing? Did she continue to sit there, or did she get up, or did she
She got up
look around
eventually.
and check, or?
I guess she sat there for a while.
How long would a while be?
I can't tell you that. I don't know.
Okay. Can we try to guess? Would it be a minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes?
More towards the latter. 10.
10? So this whole incident of Veronica sitting on Siobhan, you're thinking maybe it was more like 10 minutes?
That's what I'm thinking, yes.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Huh?
Do you know any idea how long from the time that Siobhan was making the gurgling sound and the time that Veronica stood up and you realized that she was unresponsive? How long was that?
2 minutes after she made the gurgling sound, Veronica stood up, I suppose.
You would think something like 2 minutes?
Yeah, 2 minutes. And then she wasn't responsive. She wasn't breathing or nothing.
Okay. And that time you're sitting in the chair and that's when you're thinking, God, Veronica, you need to get up off of her.
Yeah, but that's my wife's niece. So I'm the husband. I'm on the outside of this. True enough, I'm married to Grace.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes if I say something like that, then Grace hollers at me, what are you yelling at her for? The child needs to be disciplined or something. That has happened in the past, not this time. That's one reason why I didn't say it.
So you just didn't want to be shut down by Grace again, like she has in the past. Is that fair?
She hasn't done it maybe just once in the past. Yeah, that's when you're married, that works on a guy, or a woman.
Yeah, you get sick of it. Getting told what to do, right?
Well, they don't tell me what to do. I march my own beat. But some things shouldn't be said.
Okay.
They wind up being said. And I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. Because you hurt somebody's feelings, it goes a long ways. And I've been down that route too, not in this marriage, but in other relationships, and I said I was never going to do that no more.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else you can think of that I need to know about
Let me see.
relating to this incident?
I know what you're saying. I miss her. There is nothing else. I'm sorry.
Okay.
2 minutes passed from the gurgling sound and no sound. But back in room 3, Veronica has a much different story.
So how, from that point, did you end up
Sitting on her.
sitting on her?
When she went down on her knees,
Mm-hmm.
and she was bucking and flipping in the chair and stuff, I said, Siobhan, stop. I want to get up. I said, Siobhan, stop. I said, you're not cooperating with us. So she kept on bucking. I said, okay, I know what to do. I'll just sit here and restrain you till you decide to calm down. And that's what happened.
Okay. When you sat down, how was she positioned?
On her knees, with her face up. Well, she wasn't down into the plastic.
Okay.
Her head was up.
Okay.
And she said, I can't. I said, you can. I said, Siobhan, you're talking to me. And I was saying, well, why'd you do this to me? She was answering me. We was having a conversation.
Uh-huh.
She was answering and bucking. I said, well, why you cussed the, I can't call her name out, the beautician. Why did you talk to her like that? I said, she's good to you. Why would you tell her you hate her? Because she's correcting you for something you did. Because she, along with me, we don't really conversate with each other, but I would pick them up from the beauty shop sometime, and she would tell me that she had to get with them about something.
Mm-hmm.
And she was saying, I said, but why'd you do that? Did you do that? Yes. That's the way she was talking.
Okay, so she's answering you. You're asking her these questions. She's
Yes.
answering you. So, you said that, and I'm going to demonstrate again.
Okay.
Just I want to make sure that I've got it clear in my
Okay.
mind how this happened. So she's on her knees, the best that you can remember. She's on her knees.
Yeah.
And she's, what are her arms doing? Are her arms on the chair, or is she still fighting, pushing away?
Her arms, because she's behind me, her arms are probably in the chair. Because she's, that was before I sit down.
Okay,
To
before
stop her. Stop her from pushing against the pole and bucking and trying to kick us.
Uh-huh.
And do the position again.
Okay, so
So I think she was had her arms like this.
so she's maybe like this,
Yes.
but her head's up, and
Yeah.
she's not in the plastic at this point.
No.
And you're sitting on her, right?
I sit on her about that time.
About this time is when you sit to keep her from
bucking.
doing any more. Okay. And you're at this point, you think she probably hasn't moved. Would that be safe to say? Did her
Yes.
arms start flaring around or anything? Did she start hitting you or anything?
No, she didn't hit me or anything. It was
Okay.
just her feet and her bucking.
She's just moving. You can feel her
Yeah.
squirming?
Yeah, she was squirming.
Okay.
Even when I was sitting and trying to hold her down, she was
Okay.
bucking up and down. And, she's on her face in the chair. And instead of just calming down so we can talk to her, she, my back's hurt. Remember, she's lean and she's on her knees in the chair, prayer position, and she's still bucking with her back and
Yeah.
her butt to try to get away.
Okay. And you said you had this conversation with her. So, I mean, you were sitting there for how long would you say?
Maybe 5 or 6 minutes, I guess.
5 or 6 minutes carrying on this conversation.
And I said, well, and this keep ringing in my ears because my baby gone. I said, Siobhan, why do you do what you do? I don't know. I said, well, you don't do it with me. why do you do it? You're my cousin. I love you. I said, bull crap, you don't love me. That's the way we were talking. Mm-hmm. It wasn't no screaming, no yelling. It's just a freak.
So, whenever she finally said she couldn't breathe.
That's when I moved.
Okay.
She said it 2 times. She said, Cousin Veronica can't breathe. I said, Vaughn, stop praying. You just trying to get up from here because you can't move. Mm-hmm. You trying to, she got calmed down so her legs had stopped bucking.
Okay.
I said, you just trying to get up from here. So, because I'm controlling you right now. Mm-hmm. She said, no, I can't breathe. I said, oh, Javon, you playing. Stop it, girl. So I sit there for a minute, and I got up.
Okay. And that's when you realized?
That she was not moving.
Okay.
All 3 were there, in the room, or in and out, and all 3 were part of the same chain of cruelty. Who are we to believe? Here's what the courts had to say about it. In March of 2019, Veronica Green Posey was convicted of first-degree felony murder and sentenced to life in prison without parole. The court ruled that she had willfully tortured and maliciously punished 9-year-old Siobhan Lindsay, using her 320-pound body to restrain her cousin, even after she cried that she couldn't breathe. Posey's sentence was later upheld on appeal. James Smith, the adoptive father, pleaded no contest to aggravated manslaughter and received 10 years in state prison for standing by as it happened. His wife, Grace Jones Smith, was found guilty of aggravated manslaughter and aggravated abuse, earning 20 years behind bars after initially being deemed incompetent to stand trial. None of them could agree on who started it or who should have stopped it, but the evidence was clear. All 3 were present, and none of them intervened. At the center of it all was a child who never stood a chance, a girl whose every mistake was treated like a crime, whose cries for air were dismissed as defiance. Siobhan Lindsay was 9 years old. She should have been in school, not struggling for breath beneath the weight of the people sworn to protect her.